good morning. I want to welcome all of you to How to Market Effectively Without Killing Yourself, 6-Figure Secrets to Entrepreneurial Success Through Authentic Self-Expression. I am Tomasa Macapinlac, and I am so blessed to have assembled 12 smart women, I say, because each of them, I mean, oh my God, I've already interviewed, 7 people, and I know the 2 today are just stand right there in the same caliber as the other 7 that I've interviewed. These women have made millions of marketing themselves in an effective way that is near and dear to their heart because it is in alignment with who they are. And so I want you to know I'm personally interviewing each and every one of the speakers. And as we're doing that, I'm digging into how they use marketing in their business to continue to generate leads and market themselves in a way that is in alignment with their authentic self without all the hypey, salesy stuff that can sometimes turn ideal clients off. And then I'm also going to be sharing with finding out from them how they found their true authentic voice in the midst of their marketing and what tweak turned it around for them and how they can share their way of marketing that can help inspire you to keep going in your business. I also want them to put you into action, so I'm asking each of them what step that they can help you take to get in action right now. And I want you to know as we go along, I'm sharing my secrets as well. So this is very interactive. It's been really fun. I actually was just telling a friend yesterday who I interviewed yesterday that I feel like Oprah right now, a newscaster right now. So anyway, so I want you to get ready to discover how your gifts, your blessings, your teachings, systems, and service can help people, whether that is local or global, find you. And so I'm really excited about our guests this morning. And I should say afternoon because some of you are on the East Coast, and I believe she's on the East Coast. and some of you are in the evening I believe in or late afternoon because I believe in Britain, someone told me to call out Britain time. So, yes, I want to acknowledge you all from around the globe who are listening in. And really, I'm really excited about this guest speaker on the call today because she is a speaker, author, and business coach. Her name is Vanessa Horn. I met Vanessa at an event back in October where we sat next to each other. And we shared some pretty authentic things with each other. I mean, I could go deep with her so quickly, and that was what made me intrigued by her. And so I kept in touch with her a little bit through Facebook, and when I looked at this event, I thought about her. And so I called her up and invited her, and she said yes. And so happy because, you know what, she is leading a movement in the network marketing industry. And you know what? I think most of us know how we feel about network marketing. At least I know how I feel about it. And I know that a lot of holistic practitioners, holistic service providers, spirit entrepreneurs, we all tend to go and sell things that are in the network marketing industry. And so, but we also want to be in alignment when we're selling those things. And so I think she's a great asset to this call because she is working to elevate the profession by helping as many principle-centered and heart-centered individuals as possible rise to the top and shine as a light. She has a passion to elevate the entire profession to a whole new level of credibility, authenticity, and integrity. And she has successfully built to the top of 2 network marketing companies within the past 8 years. She did this while raising 3 young boys and a husband who is in the ministry. Her specialty is her proven system to build success in such a way that others are begging to do business with you, and I'm all about that. You know, you don't have this hypey, salesy way. You really want people to beg to do business with you. So she offered to do this call for us today, and I'm really excited to welcome Vanessa as she talks about how to become top in your industry without burnout, sellout, or losing out. Welcome, Vanessa.
Thank you, Tomasa, for having me. What a amazing subject that I'm so passionate to share on today and to hear the other speakers that have been on this Telesummit. What a powerful message.
Yes, yes. I think it is very powerful. I see it all the time. I see a lot of folks fall down on marketing, and last year I watched a lot of women go out and market themselves and not get the results that they wanted, and then go and kind of crawl up in the ball in the corner and not do it again. And then maybe they come back and they try it again, and it would be the same results. And so I was like, oh, no, we got to do something about this. And so this is where this idea was born. And so I know that they weren't alone, and I know that many out there feel the same way. And this is why I put together this event.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, and I know that you've probably been through your own marketing woes along the way. And so I would love for you to tell us your story, where you are today, and then, how it hasn't always been that way for you perhaps, and then what was your transformation point for you?
Well, the reason why this topic is so near and dear to my heart is because I went through the journey of building to the top in the network marketing industry, and I've only in the last couple of years transitioned into coaching, and so my clients are both network marketers and coaches, and helping them create a thriving business that's in direct alignment with their purpose and their authentic self. So my origination in entrepreneurship, where I really got in touch with what this was like, was it's been 11 years now that I've been on this entrepreneurial journey, and I painfully did experience amazing success, but at a cost whenever I built the first time in building to the top of the network marketing industry. And I learned some really amazing lessons in that journey, and it's why I'm so passionate about showing others how they can get to the top. And I did it again a second time in a network marketing business, and then have been really just so blessed to have experienced the success that I have in the coaching space as I've transitioned here to building to the top, to being recognized as a leader, to be the kind of person that people want to do business with. And it doesn't have to come at sacrificing what is most important to you, nor selling out your soul. Mm-hmm. So let me tell you a little bit about what it was like the first time around that I did it, that I knew I never wanted to experience that again.
That would be great. I would love to hear that, and I'm sure our listeners do too. Share that.
And it's and I talk about 5 lies that are fed to entrepreneurs, or that we are tempted to believe. And this first lie is the one that I chased that ended up costing me so much. And it was, Vanessa, do whatever it takes, put your head down for 2 to 5 years, and do what no one else is willing to do, so that you can reap the rewards for the rest of your life of what nobody else would reap. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, let me just do that. I'm willing to do that. And my motivation was I had 2 babies who were underneath the age of 2. Mm-hmm. I was working a full-time job, and I had a franchise, and I just wanted to be home with them. And I was the primary breadwinner in our family, and I was like, okay, I've got to do something. And that's what made me be courageous enough to jump into the land of doing my own business. And at that time, it was in alignment with the network marketing business. And I thought, okay, 2 to 5 years, let me do this. And I went head down, and I did whatever it took. I mean, I was on fire. I saw the vision for how this was going to help me. And we were very fortunate and had amazing success and qualified for the very top rank in the company, which a very small percentage of people did, within a year's time, only a year. And I was able to walk away from my full-time job, sell my franchise, and just do that business. But the thing was that it was always this goal that said, if I get to this level, if I get this much in volume or this much in monthly income, then I'll rest. And that's that lie that we can get into, believing that when I get to such and such place, then I'll have what I really want. Mm-hmm. And I talk about how I don't even like the fact, and I mean this with complete respect, but I don't like the fact that our founding fathers used the phrase the pursuit of happiness whenever they talked about that we had the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We certainly have the rights to all that, but the pursuit of happiness, that's what gets us, so many of us, in this place where we're not even present to our life and enjoying and creating what we want most in today because we're pursuing as a future destination goal. And that's the trap that I was caught in. I was like, okay, let me just get to where I'm at the top. I have 4 liters wide, then I'll, quote, unquote, go to the beach. That's what was our phrase for it. And I remember the breaking point came for me where I was on the phone call with, and this was just like one example. I'm totally being vulnerable and real and sharing, like, this is what it's like to be a business as an entrepreneur and to build a business and try to be balancing being a mom and it all. But I was on a call with a CEO or top executive of a company who wanted to come into our team. And I'd elevated her on this stage of, okay, oh my goodness, I've got to put this time aside because she's excited and she wants to come in. And if I don't take advantage of this moment, I could lose her. But my son woke up from his nap while I was on that call. And I was on this 3-way phone call, and I was like, in that moment of just like, okay, what do I do? And that fear of loss had me, and I'm ashamed to say this, and I've worked through, I've just, and it's what propels me is just a symptom of what I was going through, and what propels me that others won't have to experience the same pain, was that I was on that phone call, and here was that choice of my son had just woken up from his nap. Do I get off the call and address my son, or do I do whatever it takes to, quote, unquote, close this person? And I stepped out onto the front porch, and I closed the front door with my little guy, who was 2 years old at the time, crying behind the door, and try to be as present as I could to that 3-way phone call. It made me so, the sickening feeling in my stomach to watch the choices that I was making, that for the ones that I loved and the people that I said that I was doing the business for, my husband, my kids, my own health, myself. And when I saw these choices that I was making, and I kept saying, when I get to this goal, then I can relax. And seeing that it ended up crumbling, like this, things that were outside of my control and choices that were happening in the company caused them to file bankruptcy. And I saw this, what I had exchanged years to create was now like disassembling before my eyes. And I was like, Vanessa, look at that chase that you did. And now what am I going to do? Another 2 to 5 year chase? Like, how long am I going to put my family on hold to create success? And I was determined, like, there's no way. And I sat across from entrepreneurs who'd been on it longer than me. And they were on the next chase, like this chain of chases and going after that next one. And I have now experienced that you truly can create that balance and to create the success that you want in your business without burning out, without selling out, and without losing out from the opportunities that are there.
Wow. So what was, that's amazing, the choices we make. And what ended up happening for you? Where'd you go from there, dear?
Well, what I experienced was, and I have a book that's coming out called I'll Have What She's Having. And it's been really interesting because what I discovered was when we can get into that place, and I was living from some of that in my first round of building to the top, but there were areas where I was not congruent and I was sacrificing. But I decided, like, to do this experiment of, what if I could truly bring those things into alignment? What if I could work smarter, not harder? What if I could ask for guidance? And I'm a huge believer of asking for spiritual guidance in our work, because there was this verse that so powerfully spoke to me that said, "Are you tired? Are you worn out?" And I was a resounding, yeah, that's me. And it said, "Come with me, walk with me, and work with me. See how I do it. I will show you the unforced rhythms of grace." And I was like, oh my goodness, there's a way to do this that is the unforced rhythms of grace. I want that. And it said, "I will lay nothing heavy or ill-fitting on you. Come, keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly." And isn't that what we all really want anyway, is to live freely and lightly? And so I was like, okay, I want that. That's what I want. And so it's asking for that guidance. And there's some very practical things that I am intentional about sharing with the audience that made the biggest difference for me, both in my network marketing business the second time around that I built to the top, and what I've experienced in my coaching practice. And it's when we are living in such a place that has people say, "I'll have what you're having," like, "I'll have what she's having." It's the same thing that has people say, "I have to work with you." It's because they see our way of being in the world first. That's what shows up even more powerfully than what we're doing. And so it's so important for us to put that congruency in place. And the number one thing that I start with is making certain that we're in alignment with our purpose. And it means that we ask the question, and what helps us to, like, clear all the noise of all possibility, because the people who are listening to this call are entrepreneurs. Let me just give you a hint of another lie that's fed to entrepreneurs, that we're tempted to believe that opportunity only comes around once in a lifetime, maybe twice. That is absolutely not true. As entrepreneurs, opportunity is at our disposal all the time, and it's about having the wisdom. We all think that the pursuit of knowledge will get us closer to what we want, but it's knowledge without wisdom will leave us in burnout. It's not enough. But the application of wisdom says, okay, I have opportunity at my disposal everywhere. I have clients. I have enough clients. There is more than enough people that I could enroll and work with and serve, than that I don't have to be in a state of desperation, and I can ask for those exact people are the people that are resonating with what I share. And so when we can say and be in alignment and purpose and ask the question of ourselves, if this were the last year of your life, what would you do?
I love that question. Even the last day of your life, what would you do?
It helps you prioritize and see all of the muckety-muck stuff that is on our calendars, that is in our life, that is really not that important to us. And it helps us distinguish, because I believe the key to success is when it's that phrase that Frederick Buechner says, it's when our greatest joy meets the world's greatest need. So sometimes in marketing we're taught there's two different trains of thought. One says, do what you love and the money will follow. That's not enough, and I'll share the distinction of what's the difference. The second one is, give the market what the market wants. And I believe it's that intersection of the two, but we have to ask ourselves, distinguished by the question, if this were the last year of our life, what would you really do? That helps us tap into what gives us the greatest joy. And then what we get to do in marketing and this is what I love, is all we're doing is creating and finding the language that resonates. We do not have to sacrifice what we love most, but we have to communicate it in a way in the marketplace that has people say, that's me, I want that, that's my need. And so that is the messaging, that is the use of words, that is the clarification of how our work will transform them or give them the solution to the need that they have. And last fall, I was in the middle of a launch, and I had spent a boatload of money. And the way that I launch my programs is generally we'll do, and this is what has worked so effectively, and I know this calls on marketing specifically, is to do a taste, whether it's in individual sessions or whether it's in a webinar or Google Hangout, a taste of what it's like to work with me, of the transformation that people would get from working with me. And in that, to make an invitation to a session with me, and then invite to working further, a continuation of the work, not a beginning, but a continuation of the work in one of my programs. And that has worked very, very effectively. So last fall, I was taking the counsel of a coach that was helping me market online. It was the first time I had done Facebook ads. And I paid a boatload of money to the best of the best in the industry to run my ads for me. We're talking about an investment of like $10,000. And so it was like I couldn't afford for it just to be a flop, right? To try to put something in the market. And they said, test what the market wants. Test what the market wants. I was in the middle of this launch. I mean, everything was going wrong. My domain was blocked on Facebook. One of the network marketing industries was suing me because I was using my image and they were using my image. There was this all these things in my funnel that were breaking down, and it was like, okay, here's going to be a complete flop. And I was the breakdown of tears, like, because it was this, I wanted to get this world of marketing online and do it congruent with who I was and authentically, not sacrificing it, and yet use the tools effectively. And I was in tears asking my husband, what am I not getting? Why is this not clicking for me? And like you shared, Tomasa, that there might have been people this past year who've put stuff out there, they've tried to market, and then they had to go and they crawl in a hole because it didn't go like they thought. It was like crickets, right? That's what I was like, I'm putting it out, and there's crickets in response. I'm in tears asking my husband, what am I not getting? Because it's so easy to try to take it personal, right, and think, what's wrong with me? People are making this successful. What's wrong with me that I'm not getting it? And he said, babe, what if you're going through this precisely so you could serve your clients when they hit that point of pursuing their dreams and it looks like it's all falling apart? And one of my coaches called me, like as I was driving away from talking to my husband, in tears. And I'm like, I'm trying to give the market what the market wants. I'm launching these things to test what the market wants. And I'm in tears. And he's like, I won't say the word he used, but he's like, Vanessa, beep the market. He's like, beep the market. He's like, if this were the last year of your life, what would you do? What would you do? And I'm like, you're right. I've had this passion to help people tap into that they would release all of the surrogate dreams that they've been pursuing, the surrogate places that they've been seeking value, and they become congruent with who they are. They know their worth, and they live powerfully their passion and purpose in the world. And I said, and that's the message of my book. And he said, go do that.
And then what happened?
And when I had my launch, no lie, I decided I was just going to, I had no sales page. I was going to see how these conversations went. I launched it. I had a 90% closure rate that week.
Oh, my God, that's wonderful.
From my launch, had a wildly successful launch. We created like $30,000 in that 1 week. And it continued, like the next 3 months of income that was generated over it. And it was because I was tapped into what made me come alive, and it's that Howard Thurman quote that says, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs are people who are fully alive.
Yeah.
And people could sense that in me, and that I was going to serve them in the journey and creating that in their business and them making more money and being in a congruent way to what was their purpose and their unique message, instead of doing it the way the rest of the market and the rest of the world does it. And so that's that thing that people see in us. We cannot afford to be out of alignment. So asking ourselves that question, if this were the last year of your life, what would you do? The second very practical thing that I emphasize all my clients do, and anybody who wants to be successful in marketing, and exactly the topic of this webinar, is what I call hell yeah or no. So every single thing in your life, and I had 3 columns, hell yeah, maybe, and no. And I went through every area. I went through who do I spend my time on the phone with? Who are people I have in my life? What activities am I doing in my business? What activities am I doing in my life? It became clear, like, okay, some of the housekeeping stuff and even some of the cooking, like I just was very honest with myself rather than looking on Facebook or comparing myself to anybody else in my life and who I thought I had to be. I said, Vanessa, who are you really? What really lights you up? What things, like, you don't really care for or love? And I started putting them into these columns and made certain whatever was in the maybe column, could it become a hell yeah? If not, then it was in the no column. And it was on a scale of 1 to 10. And the thing about gifted entrepreneurs who are on this call is that there are many things that they are good at that will be in the scale of the 7, 8, or 9 that they're saying yes to, that they will create the life that they really want by delegating things that are not a 10, saying no to those things that are not a 10, and do those things that are the 10. It's a way of saying, yeah, hell yeah, I'll have what I'm having. And when we're showing up that way, people, particularly as coaches, when people experience this and they're saying, I'm trusting that you could guide me on the process of creating what I want in my life or in my business, or as network marketers who are enrolling people into their business, they're observing everything about our lives, and when they sense that congruency in us, it gives them hope, because what really people are pursuing businesses, people are doing these goals because they want what they think they're going to feel on the other side of it. And when we can show, like, we can create that along the journey. And so those are 2 very practical things that I would say are starting points, is asking that question, if this were the last year of your life, what would you do? And then secondly, going through and getting super, super clear and asking of everything in your life, hell yeah or no. If it's not a hell yeah, make it a no. And those hell yeahs, build them into your calendar. Build them into your marketing plan. Build them into your routine in your week that has you create the life that you want, and then you build your business around that.
So I have a question for you. Like, some of the folks on the line might be just starting out, and they might not be where you are as far as maybe, the housework. I'm just looking at some things. I'm looking at some of my clients, and maybe they don't have the means to do that. So what do you suggest to them for those kinds of things? Or do they
Here's what I believe. I believe most people hire assistance and help 6 months too late.
I agree with that.
There's this trap that we fall into, and then we sometimes we don't release. And I want every single person who's on this line, whether they consider themselves left brain or right brain, like we're taught in our society to do this delineation, and it's just not necessary. I used to think I was a left brain person. I was a financial analyst in corporate and a numbers gal and MBA and all that analytical stuff. And when I said, okay, wait a minute, when I really started stepping into my true self, I engaged so much more of my right brain and my creativity. So whoever is on this line, we get caught up in this trap that says, unless I know the how, then I can't do it. And we seek and we think we have to know the how. But if we get super clear about what we want most, and we get so clear about that, and we allow the space, and we allow the guidance, and we allow our creativity to say, okay, if the question is not whether or not I can create it as a reality, but the question is how, what ideas, what openness can I allow to answer the question of how? The how will come from answering what. And so whenever I used to think, well, I can't, someday when I get to such and such income, right, I'll have my dream, and, then I'll have a full-time housekeeper, or I'll do this or that. And what I discovered was, you start to find these creative ways to be able to do those things now. Like, instead, reinvest what you make in your business to buy you time. Rather than things initially, if you're starting out. Like, buy your time rather than things. And so you reinvest it. So now you're putting systems and resources in play. I have a friend who totally gives me a hard time. He's like, you got all your minions. You got your minions to do your work for you. I'm like, look, this is my hell yeah life. And those are things that I don't enjoy doing. I'll have somebody else do it if it's a hell yeah for me. And so when we have those, and we look at where can we, I put an ad on Craigslist that described exactly what I was looking for, and found this person that it was just they were willing to come for a couple hours a day. Like, I found that better than a once a month or once a week housekeeper. They were willing to come a couple hours a day and straighten up and do the laundry and all those things that freed me up so much. And I knew that my investment of time and my brilliance was going to yield more per hour than what I was paying her to do that work.
Well, it's very interesting. I'm going to share a story from me that was really fun back when I was taking my company, Self-Care Queendom. That was my holistic practice, and I still have it to the next level. It was this year I just went, that's it. I'm not doing all this stuff. So I agree with you totally, Vanessa. I want you to know that. But I decided that I could no longer keep up the house. I had this 2,700 square foot house, a husband, the kids. The kids were older. And it was like I couldn't keep up that housework. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't enjoy doing it. I don't have the time to do it, but I want it to be in order, right? And so I just called up someone. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I just called someone up, and I said, look, I need you to come and, do an assessment here of, what it would cost to get the house clean. And he came and did it, and he walked into my office, my home office, because I do Asian body work. And he saw this massage table. He goes, you do body work? You do massage? I go, well, it's not really massage. It's body work. It's different. It's healing work. And he said, well, I would love to do that. He goes, I'd be interested in trading you for housework. I'm like, to him, I don't mind putting my hands on people, but to do the housework, I did mine. And it was like, bam, it was like, okay, I can do that, And I don't normally trade with anyone, but it was like the housework was worth trading for.
Yes. Well, and Robert Kiyosaki was so powerful in me making a transition from my lucrative corporate job to jumping into entrepreneurship. And he's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
And he said, don't ask the question, can I afford it? It's the question is, how can I afford it? How can I?
Well, then there's also this thing that I always hear, how is none of my business. You give it to Spirit, and Spirit figures it out for you. I mean, that's really how I see it. It's like I just need to set my intentions what I want. Spirit, this is what I want. Like, can you help me get this? And bam, it shows up. And when you're so strong about your intention, it happens. So,
and the answer can come from a mentor. The answer can come from a coach who's already created what you want, and you're gaining from their mistakes, their lessons, their learnings, their wisdom. The answer can come from an idea that just pops into your mind that's spirit-led. The answer can come in any form, but if we allow the openness we shut off. Too frequently shut off saying, well, it's not possible. I just can't afford it. That's completely shutting the door to the possibility. Instead, I like to say, if this is a true desire of my heart and it's something I really want, it's on my hell yeah list, how can I create the openness and how can I ask that? And, back to that reference of that scripture that says, come and work with me, I'll show you how to do it. It's that divine guidance, and I've had these ideas of solutions that came to me that solved problems. There was like, oh my gosh, I know that was a divine download in that moment to give me the answer to that.
Beautiful. Yes, it happens all the time. And even I remember that same year when I was looking for an assistant. I didn't even put it out there yet. I was thinking that I needed an assistant, and when I hired, and what happened? She showed up automatically. She just showed up. She had done some temporary work for me a year before, and she said, Tomasa, I want to quit this job. I really want to come work for you in Self-Care Queendom. And I went, really? It was just like, Spirit just kind of sends stuff to you. And I'm like, I'm sitting there negotiating, well, what do you want to do? How many hours do you want? She needed flexibility in her life because she had a kid, a little one. And it's like, well, I'm friendly towards moms. And so it's like, okay, what can we do here to make this work? And that's when Self-Care Queendom just like took off and went, shoop, I could do the things that I needed to do because I no longer had to deal with the housework and I no longer had to deal with all this other stuff that, I needed an assistant to take care of. So what I'm sharing with you is that, what Vanessa is saying, that we don't hire the people soon enough. And when we do hire them, we watch how our life just takes off and our business takes off and we get to do the things we want to do. So,
yeah, and, Gary Vee, I watched an interview with Gary Vee. I saw him live at an event. And, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we think, okay, well, I can do this. Let's just say, on a scale of 1 to 10, we feel like we could do it really, really well. Maybe we can even do it at an 11. And he says, if you can find people who can do it even at an 8, it is worth you delegating those things that are not within your realm of genius and what you love and feels effortless to you. It's worth it for the leverage to give it to somebody, even if because some people have a hard time letting go. Even if they do it at an 8, it's something that you do at an 11, it's totally worth it. And sometimes we find these people who they love what is a drain to us. They can do it for hours on end. Like, that's the perfect match.
Yes, it's great. Let someone else be in their genius is the way I see it, and let yourself be in your genius. Like right now, I think I was talking to you before we got on the call about, oh, my God, my assistant took care of all this for me. I woke up and everything was there for me. And it was just like, oh, my God, she knew I had been, fighting a cold. And, it was just like she just took care of me, And that's what you want. So I can just be here and present with you all here on the call. And it was like, and it makes me want to say, okay, how do I keep her forever?
Yeah, you're like, hell yeah, this is what I want. I'll have what I'm having.
Exactly. So, dear.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about, you've talked about authenticity, showing up for yourself and saying this is what I really want, and I love that. And so I want to ask you, what is the biggest mistake that you see entrepreneurs making with their websites?
Oh, man. I think there's a lot of copycat that's happening in the industry from my experience, particularly when we see somebody being successful in a particular area. And I really believe in taking, if a model works, like I say if one person has proven how to do something, I can totally follow what they've created. But the thing about it is when we're in implementation, We have to be in touch with where that it's in our purest expression of ourselves, that we don't compromise in how something is communicated or the language of how something is put out there in the world just because it worked for somebody else. Because it might have been congruent for them, and that's why they got the results that they got. But when it's incongruent to us, it will not land with our tribe. Now, here's what I've seen. It's really, really been interesting over the last 2.5 years as I've observed some of the multi-million-dollar, quote-unquote, gurus that are in the marketplace that are business coaches. More and more of them have what I call this, like, and they'll call it too. They'll say, I'm coming out. I'm sharing a part of me that I've never shared before. And it usually has something to do with their story or something to do with their spirituality. And I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, they're at multi-millions, and they're just now having the courage to come out with what's the purest expression of themselves. So I say, let's do it on the front end. Like, why? Because I'm not concerned about the people who don't resonate with my message or who I am, and they just say, this isn't for me. Like, I know that the abundance that exists, like, there's somebody who can serve them more powerfully. And so I want them to find who that is. I don't want clients that are not in alignment with me. So I'm completely open with my clients about who I am. Like, I'm a deeply spiritual person, and at the same time, like, don't be surprised. There might be some curse words that come out. Like, if that offends you, then this might not be the right fit.
Stay away. So I hear you on that.
Right,
yes.
and just,
I have a little bit of a potty mouth too.
Well, there's some words that just they just work really effectively to get the point across. So, it's just like letting ourselves be ourselves fully, because people can sniff it out when we're not in alignment. And being authentic with every piece that we create, that we put in the world, and this is what I believe, like with our imagery, like so much of what's happening online is image-based versus just words. And so let the images that express our brand, how is our personality expressed in that? When we took those photos, like, were we fully free to be ourselves? And just know that by us shining our light that's already inside of us, that our unique message is called to transform and set captives free. By us being free, that us allowing our light to shine gives them permission to shine. That's what we really want. We really want to be free. We want to experience the fullness of life, of joy. And so business, most of the people are on this call to learn how to market. Why? Because we want our businesses to be successful, and because we want to be effective with the work. And I assume, because I know you, Tomasa, and I know the others that are speakers on this, it's a lot of heart-based entrepreneurs who don't just do it for the money, but who also want to know they're making a difference with their work. And so when we're completely congruent, when we're authentic in every single, whether it's interviews like this, whether it's in our website, whether it is in any marketing piece, any email that we write, if we allow the rawness and the realness of who we are to shine in it, I believe that it's attractive to the right clients.
I totally agree with that. It's been a big issue of looking at all the templates and stuff that you see that people have, and people copycat them. And I hear it even from my clients that, they're so tired of all the copycats seeing the same swipe copy, and it's just been taken from here, X, Y, and Z. And so, what do you, how do you change that? And so, I will even be honest about, I've looked at some of the templates, and I get discombobulated looking at some of the templates, and then my message gets all muddled. And then when I find that out, it's like, oh, God, who is this person writing this, And so then it becomes, I feel more at ease when it becomes more of who I am, and then the message becomes even more in alignment. Even my opt-in page for for this. It was like it's changed like 3 or 4 times, and it's finally going to where I want. This is me. And sometimes it takes those tweaks to get there. And so, we follow other people's templates. Oh, they're successful. Let's look at that, or I resonate with that. But I really invite you to, like you say, is to find your authentic voice when you're putting your message out there on your site, your landing pages, your authent pages, your website, or whatever. So,
use the framework. Use the framework. And also some people who are on the call who are new to marketing might say, well, I'm stuck. I don't even know how to express myself fully. And I just say, you know what, take imperfect action. Put something out there. And as you're in touch with your heart and as you're in touch with your clients and who you're serving, you can tweak along the way, but just putting something up that is in a first imperfect action to start creating momentum is the first step. And do it in the framework of what others have. But don't be afraid to say, okay, wait, this right here, that's just not what I would say. And how can I make it more congruent with who I am and how I might say it? And then it speaks to the right people. We don't have to compromise. But the framework of what is in the marketplace, there's some really key tools that, as I've learned, like the power of copywriting and the call to action, and when people are at a peak state of inspiration, like making the call to action at that point. And these are things that I've learned from templates that were in the marketplace, but I had to do it in my own way.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. So what we're going to talk about, let's get to these because we're almost at the top of the hour here. So we were actually going to talk with you about your 3 things that you're going to mention. So let's actually go here. So the first lie that you say is fed to entrepreneurs that leads to burnout is work for 2 to 5 years today and what no one is willing to do so you can live the rest of your life like no one else will. Tell us more about that and what the solution is. So I think you probably already said that, huh?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. And then you also said the second lie, more is better. And how might an entrepreneur be able to decipher what to say yes and what to say hell no to, right?
Right.
And then,
And Warren Buffett said, the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Like they're wise about what they do say yes to.
And then have you shared your third lie yet? Because I'm not sure I heard that one.
That one was, the third lie is do what you love and the money will follow. And I share how it has to be that intersection of doing what you love and also being able to articulate it and test it and tweak it. In what way does it resonate with the marketplace so that you can, so that what you love, what brings you joy, and what the market needs overlap. And I have found, like, even though I discovered, for instance, with my clients who are in the network marketing industry, I teach them, like, what they're telling me they want is, Vanessa, I want to achieve the next rank advancement. I want to get to the top. I want to build a team. I want to motivate my team. I want to make more money, right? Like, that's what they tell me, what they want. But I also know, and I get to instill and teach the pieces that I love, which is how do you do that in such a way that you're achieving that as a result, but we're doing it from honoring ourselves. We're honoring others in the process, and we're tapping into what I believe when no matter what work we do, that it's that tapping into our purpose and being in an alignment and with that and doing things from a sense of purpose, then that's what helps bring out our inner, I'll have what she's having, so that has people resonate. And so then when they didn't come to me to take a program on how to discover the purpose per se, but it's one of the pillars I do with every client in the work that we do, because I know that will yield them making more money. I have a program coming up called Truth and Dare, and it's tapping into the truth of who we are and daring to create that project, that program that we've been scared to do. And it's focusing on what that we want to create, why we want to create it, and stepping, and who do we need to be? How do we need to show up, and to be in complete alignment to do it from a state of being true to ourselves and from the most bold and daring place we ever have in the world. And you know what? When we show up that way, we do make more money. We have more powerful and fulfilling relationships. We enjoy our life more, but it's we can't do it from being from a place of just doing. It's being completely in alignment with who we are being first. We're human beings, not human doings.
I love it, yes. So I have one last question for you before we get into moving into what you have to share with the audience as far as taking action and things like that. I know that you're real big on the network marketing industry. And so, because I've even seen some of your posts, and I totally agree with you on that. I can't stand it when they come to me about it, and not be very upfront and honest with me about things. I get stuff in my box all the time. And so, what is your passion about changing that? And what do you? Because I know that some of the folks on the call, there are some networkers out there, or network marketers out there, I should say, and some of them are actually healers. And sometimes they don't feel like maybe how to sell their products, like let's say, some essential oils. I won't even name the company because there are a couple of essential oil companies out there. And so I want you to share, how they could actually bring more of their authenticity into the oils, because mine is always about, well, maybe you just share them from what you use them as, in your healing practice, and not about trying to push these oils on someone and make them sign up to be a network marketer. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, I'm super, because I started moving into coaching and speaking and writing my book, and I really felt, I really was like, I felt like I was speaking to me, and he said, Vanessa, I'm not done with you in the network marketing industry. You're still called to serve. And so that's why I serve that industry, because I've been through it. And so I serve coaches, but that's definitely, and I really believe in the model because it creates a residual income. It's I still have a residual income from a network marketing business that pays me every month, whether or not I'm doing any work. And so I believe it is a powerful business model. So the difference is that I teach people to get so tapped into why are they here? Why are they here? What's their individual message? What's the individual work that they're called to do in the world? And how does their company or the product, how is it a vehicle for that expression? Because I absolutely believe that people join people. And they're going to join that person. And so I don't believe in putting the branding of the company out on the forefront. I don't believe in bombarding all your friends and family and saying, oh, you got to get in this thing, you got to get in this, because salesy is trying to sign up something for somebody without determining whether or not it's the right fit. So I believe in them tapping into what is their individual work and how does strategically that choice of that company or that product fit into the bigger vision and mission of what's their work in the world, so that they're showing up congruently and they're doing it from a place of honor of themselves and of others when they share of that opportunity as a way to work further with them. I do not believe in the traditional methods that are just, throw 10 people against the wall, try to get 2 to stick, and share it and bombard everybody. It's just such a yucky feeling. And here's the other thing, why I'm called to elevate that industry and why I serve entrepreneurs in the coaching space as well, is I have this belief that our platforms of business is the most powerful platform of transformation and service in the world, because the number one thing that people go to bed at night concerned about is money. The number one thing that contributes to divorce is money. And so when we can help serve people through our business, through the work that we do, the service we provide, the products we offer in the world, the people we employ, the JV partners we align with, the vendors we buy from, all of those, if we can do it from that place of saying, okay, how can this be from a place of consciousness, of serving and giving into the lives of others, then I believe that we will, that's where our profit, and that's why I call it profit with honor, that's where we see our profits, is honoring every single one of those.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. So what action can you give our listeners today, one thing that they can take away that I know you shared a lot here, and so I want you to pick one action that they can take away and put into their business and into their life that you highly recommend.
So it's in alignment with the question of, if this were the last year of my life, what would I do, and the hell yeah or no exercise that I shared. And it's, what is it that you really, really, really want that has you say, hell yeah, I'll have what I'm having? What do you need to say yes to in order to create that in your life? Because you being fully alive and vibrant is what's going to emanate to every person you come into contact and have them say, I have to work with you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I know you have a gift for our listeners. And those who are on the webinar, there should be a button there that actually has the event page, and all the gifts are listed there. And if my assistant did it like I know she did, she's been taking care of me. She has already put that up there. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about your gift, Vanessa, that you're sharing with our listeners here today?
Well, I have a starter kit that I put together that asks some questions that I do with my clients to help them tap into, the listeners on this call, being able to tap into what it is that makes you come alive, that you need to infuse into your business. And so it's the Discover Your Purpose Starter Kit. It's at vanessahorn.net. I told you Facebook blocked my other domain, but vanessahorn.net/free, or I think it's on your Telesummit page that they can get access to it.
Yes.
And it asks them questions, and what they want as they go through that, they want to feel, where do they feel the visceral responses, because it's going to guide them through their story and what is their message that is there to be communicated through their work, that helps them to be most in alignment with their true self to get the results that they really, really want.
Thank you for that special gift. So it's a Discover Your Purpose Starter Kit. It doesn't look like it's up on the event page yet. She'll be putting that up shortly as we get the replay of this recording up as well. So it will be up. All you have to do is click on the link. So if you go to howtomarketeffectively.com/event/event, you can scroll down and find Vanessa's name and all her bio and what she talked about today. But also you'll find the replay being posted shortly and her link to her free gifts. And so I encourage all you to take advantage of it. It is a gift that that will put you more in alignment with why you're here and your purpose, to help you build a profitable business. And so you become complete authentic in what you do. So thank you, Vanessa. I really love all that you've shared, and I find it very, very valuable, and I'm sure our listeners have too. And I love, what are you saying? Hell yes to, and hell no to. Girl after my own heart here.
It just doesn't have the same ring if we say heck yeah, right? Does it?
Oh, I agree, So those of of you who are on the call, I really need to share this with you because I want you to be able to listen to all these calls. I mean, I've been taking notes. I've been listening. There are some things I've missed, I know, and I'm interviewing her. And so I'm trying to get things down and take copious notes. For each of the speakers, there's so much. I mean, I have an abundance of paper with notes on them around here in my home. And I want you to know, I want you to be able to treat yourself, to be able to listen to this. You can listen to it 24 hours afterwards, but sometimes that just isn't enough. I know that when I listen to things 3, 4, 5 times is when it soaks in, and when I say yes to it and go into action and actually do it. They say we need to touch things 7 times. Well, that's kind of true for our brain here, too. We need to hear it several times before we go, oh, yeah, I need to do that. And so I want to invite you to take a look and look at really considering upgrading yourself to the VIP package, because not only does it include the unlimited access to all the replays, but it also includes From Misery to Money Magic Marketing Intensive. It's a half-day virtual retreat with myself next Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. in a specific time to 1:30 p.m. in a specific time. 4 hours where you will actually get to clear your marketing modes, because I'm all about clearing your shit. Excuse my expression, but that's what I do. But I'm all about clearing your stuff. Let's get out of the way of our stuff. What blocks us into showing up fully and being visible. And then also get and to actually take yourself to the next level, and what is it that you want to manifest for yourself, for your business? Who do you want to reach? And visualize that and see that. See your future self into what you want to be and become that. And then what we'll do is roll up our sleeves and get some concrete work done. So this is me bringing my intuitive side, my healer side, with the business side, and helping you to actually say, okay, this is the way I want to market. So, it's like we say here today that, yes, we follow templates, but then we need to backtrack and say, well, hey, I need to bring this part of me in. And so that's what I want you to do is, how can you take yourself and blend yourself in with what you've heard from all these 12 speakers that you're going to hear these 6 days? What do you want to take away, and what do you want to blend into your business and the way you want to show up with it? And I feel that that's important, and that's you showing up in your authentic way, and let that evolve. And sometimes the way it happens the first time is not the way it's meant to be, but it evolves over time. And I can help you with that, even as I will be speaking on Saturday a little bit about my whole process through all of this. And so I want you to take advantage of that. And if you're on the webinar, you'll see a button that shows the VIP upgrade. And then for those of you who don't know, there's a VIP upgrade 2 page. And if you just go to howtomarketeffectively.com /VIP upgrade 2. And if you go there, you'll find where you can upgrade yourself. And it's only $97 for now. After the event, it will go up. And let me tell you, we are going to be recording the half-day virtual retreat. And here's the thing, is that it will not be included with this. So I'm going to actually encourage you to get it right now while you can, because afterwards it will not be included. It will be a separate product. And so I want to encourage you all to step into who you are fully and show up and put yourself into action. And that's what this is all about. Instead of you just listening, let's put ourselves into action today. So thank you all for being here. And I'm really excited, and I'm so thankful for Vanessa for showing up fully expressed. I love it. And this afternoon we have our speaker, who is Jess Webb. She is the marketing goddess for website design. Actually, she calls herself the web marketing goddess extraordinaire. And she'll be talking about the 3 steps to an irresistible website that makes your heart sing and attracts your perfect soulmate clients. And so this is kind of what we're even talking about today a little bit with Vanessa. So I want you all to, show up for that call today. It's 4 o'clock Pacific time. And if you're in the Eastern time zone, that's 7 p.m. Central time is 6. And British time, I always have to backtrack. I believe that's 12 p.m. midnight. So, and you can always listen to the replay if you don't want to stay up to midnight, if you're not one of those night owls. So I thank you all for being here. Thank you, Vanessa. Many blessings to you, and namaste.
Thank you, love.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.